Alright, welcome back for turn 30. This will be the July 31st, 1915 turn. Alright, the French are going to open up with an assault on Mulhausen. Started with an artillery bombardment. The goal is to take the city and get the national morale bonus. See, the air fights are starting to get a little bit more lethal. So thus far we aren't really making much of a dent in Mulhausen. Just going to line up for next turn. Hopefully we'll be able to do a little more damage then. British are going to start putting some pressure here on the Belgian border. You notice the German defenses here are not very deep. So this is where the Allies or the Entente are trying to put as much pressure as they can. Do some damage to the HQ unit they're supplying German units. The Italians are going to keep pressing here in the Alps. You can see they've made pretty impressive gains so far, but they're going to start running into more stiff Austrian opposition. Alright, back on the Poland front, where loads fell last turn to the Germans. At this point, the Russians are just going to try and do as much damage as they can and fall back. See, we're kind of setting up here behind the river line. At this point, Russian High Command is going to have to stop, because going to have to basically make a decision on what to do next. It's obvious that Warsaw is not going to last forever. So the Russians are able to inflict some decent damage against the Germans. That'll hopefully at least slow them down for a couple of turns. Cost them some money and reinforcements. If you wonder why I'm giving up these entrenchments so much, it's because all this German heavy artillery is back here, and it's just going to blow through the entrenchments anyway, so we're not going to fight to keep it too much. Here in the Serbian front, just straighten up the line some. You can see we're basically foregoing all of northern Serbia. British are starting to get into place here in Palestine. First British artillery is opening up against Turkish positions. That seaplane carrier ran afoul of a sub. We are going to try and do some damage to that sub if we can. Manages to get away though. Wraps up our replay. See that UK shipping losses are starting to be on the rise a little. Let's just take a quick look at the Russian front. You'll see the Germans took a decent beating that turn, so it's going to take a couple of turns to get back up to full speed, but that's okay because we're really going to be rearranging artillery towards Warsaw anyway. Germans are going to kind of reposition, drive in this direction, aim for Warsaw as the end result, and then after that we're just going to keep pressing in towards Brest-Litovsk. Perhaps even cut down towards here and help take Galicia back. Hindenburg's got some artillery lined up towards Kovno now, so he's going to be taking that out pretty soon. We'll start putting some heavy pressure on the Russians from up here. You're going to see the Russians start kind of gradually falling apart here in August and September. Around the same time they historically did. A little bit later perhaps because we are putting so much pressure on the Serbs a little bit earlier than historically happened. But you'll see we've got our artillery line up here too. So we're going to see a lot of action next turn on the Eastern Front. Stay tuned for the next update.